What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We're talking today about the EXO-U, the EXO utility knife. I've used this a lot, carried it a lot over the past couple weeks, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. There's some negatives here and some positives, so let's do the review. Please like the video and make sure you're subscribed before we continue. I'd appreciate it. So, the Riot EXO-U. The EXO line of knives is a gravity knife made by Riot. I have an EXO-M right here. This was the second version. First one was larger and without this lock or a clip. This is kind of the more EDC-friendly version, and I really like it. This is a knife that I'll never let go out of the collection just because it's very unique and very fun. I like showing people the knife. My family loves it. When I break it out, everybody loves it. It's just cool. So this is the same concept, but a utility knife. So it's got a little mechanism in here that holds a disposable razor blade. It's a little bit smaller. And it's made out of aluminum instead of titanium. It's the exact same concept. This razor blade holder thing is on a little track held in place by these two tabs on either side here. Slides in that track. When this lock bar is closed, it cannot escape. It's that tab is trapped in there. When you release that, it can now slide open, and then you can lock this lock bar behind that tab, locking it in place. Can't go back in. And this prevents you from being able to open the lock bar back up. So it's pretty safe. The original one maybe was not quite as safe because it didn't have a lock. It could come open in your pocket. But it would never close on you while you're using it because you're gripping this and you're holding this closed, so it couldn't close while you're using it. Full aluminum. They had a lot of different color options on this, which was kind of cool. I didn't know this was so gold colored. In the photos, it looked more like a dark yellow, but whatever. There's a lot of cool color options on this one too. Got a little, frag pattern milled in there. The overall fit and finish feels, I don't know, a little more rattly than this one. Maybe it's just because it's aluminum, it sounds different. That could be it. The pocket clip is different. They did a great job on this clip. This clip is not so good. See, the clearance between that top of that screw and the inside of the clip is very tiny, so it doesn't really want to go in your pants that well, over your pants seam. This is done much better, way more clearance. It's a great clip. It works perfectly fine. Now, how the mechanism works here, how it locks the razor blade in, it's basically a spring. Push down on this, release it from these tabs, and then you can remove that and change out the blade. Pretty easy to do. One thing that attracted me to this was it didn't require a tool to take out the blade. Some utility knives have like a little screw right here you have to take out in order to change the blade. This one you don't need anything. Just push down, pop it out. Easy. Now, when I got this, one of the first things I noticed was how loose this blade is in its holder. And, there isn't a utility knife that I know of that has a completely solid blade. Usually they're all a little bit rattly and movey. This one moved a lot. And that on top of the holder itself moving in the track. Now, it doesn't really, when you're gripping it, it doesn't move. But if it's just, it does move if you're not gripping it. So both of those things together, it feels really kind of loose in there. It's not going to fall out, but it's really rattly. This whole thing is very rattly. I think that started to bug me a little bit, maybe. It didn't feel super sturdy. Now, there are times at work where I need to cut through like really thick rubber belting material. And I use a razor blade for it. I use a utility knife for it. I started to try to do that with this thing, and I stopped pretty quickly because number one, there's no way to easily put pressure down on the spine of this because the the locking the thing that holds in the razor blade is right there. If I go to push down on the spine, whoops, my blade fell out and maybe I cut myself. Who knows? That's a major issue with the knife in my mind. You can kind of make sure that you're up over that up here, or I don't know, back here doesn't really make sense, but anywhere right in here, if you push down, oops, the blade is gone. So that was one thing, and then the other thing, you know, the ergos are fine. There's no like big hot spots, but if I want to put a lot of pressure down on something, I want something like a fastback, a Milwaukee fastback. So I get it. This is not meant for heavy duty work. It's more of like it's a light duty utility knife. So I get that part of it. It's not like trying to be big and beefy. So that's fine. I'm just telling you about my experience with it. So that's an issue. Can't push down on the spine. This is going to pop out. Super rattly. The magnets. This lock is either held in the open or closed position with these little magnets on the surface of the titanium, and you can tell they have been completely caked up with metal shavings and this metal dust. Now, I'm a welder. I work around metal. I'm at the angle grinder grinding away. All that dust that I grind away, some of it gets caught in these magnets. So a lot of you won't have to worry about that. Maybe some of you do if you work around metal or grinders. It's a nuisance. I can get the compressed air and kind of blow it out, but it never completely comes all the way out. It never gets everything out. And it's kind of annoying. So for that reason, this is not the great tool for me. Well, another reason why it's not a great tool for me, for what I use it for. This actually went through the washer, so like a lot of these little places where the ano has rubbed off was probably from it being in the dryer, rattling around in there. So it's some of it's normal wear and tear, some of it's from the dryer. Overall, if you're looking for a super light duty little razor blade to carry around, this might be fine. If you like the design, you like that it's a gravity knife. I don't know. For me, the novelty of it being a gravity knife wasn't enough to make me want to keep carrying it. It wasn't useful enough in my day-to-day. It had these couple flaws that I've been talking about that really took away from it. Oh, there's one more I'm not mentioning. Since it's so rattly, and because of the clearance down here, this half of the edge that's back here is constantly rubbing on this little track in here. Every time it moves and goes back forward, it's rubbing that nice sharp edge and dulling it away on this surface here. So by the time you're done with this edge and you go to flip it around and use this one, it's super dull already because it's been just grinding its sharpness away down here on this piece of metal, on this part of the frame. Now, I think most utility knives, probably this part is plastic, or maybe there's clearance, but I've never noticed that happening before on any other utility knives that I've owned. So there's got to be a way that they're avoiding that happening. Again, I think it's either this is plastic down here so it can't really dull it like this metal would, or there's a clearance so that sharp edge isn't touching anything else. Whatever it is, they've figured out a way to fix that. This one, they haven't, or they didn't think of it, or they didn't care, whatever. That was another thing, and another little issue. So all of those things combined, this is not for me. This is not for me. I'm still on the lookout for a good utility knife because there were a few opportunities, a good amount of opportunities for me to use this in my day-to-day, and I was glad that I had it. Little things that maybe your pocket knife blade wouldn't be able to fit in there. Maybe you just don't want to mess up your blade. You want to cut something that's down laying on concrete, with this, whatever. Just blast through it and then change out the blade later. So it was nice to have, it was useful. And I think I want to keep carrying a utility knife on me, but I gotta find a different one. This just it didn't do it for me. Didn't do it for me. So there you go. Honest review of the React EXO-U. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it was informative to you. Let me know in the comments. Have any of you guys carried one of these? Do you have similar similar thoughts? Have these similar things happened to you with yours? Let me know. I'm curious. And that's about it. Love you guys. I will talk to you soon.